Hello, everyone. Welcome to the January 19th Service Binding Operators Community Call. Um, so we have a couple of things on the agenda. First of all, I would like to announce last week we have told that we would be releasing 133. Now it is like official. 133 is out, so it's available on Operator Hub as well as Artifact Hub as a home chart and OLM operator. And so let me put it here. And while doing that, Baju has some discussion points. So Baju,
Yeah,
you can
the
go on.
first one, yeah, thanks. So the first one is one issue that was hanging around for quite some time, and can you open that link? And yeah, so we asked in the last meeting, this is not a priority, and we had a comment last time, December 8th or something. Can you scroll down, asking whether feedback from the developer, whether any still interested or not. So I don't see any response. I think this much time is enough to close, and we can put a comment saying if he's interested, he can reopen this issue. But I think for us, we can close this one in my opinion. Any thoughts?
Considering we haven't seen activity in more than a month. Rather, we haven't seen any activity from outside users in more than a year. I'd say it's fine.
I mean, we could try to propose that in the spec too, right? And see if it's something that is interesting. I would say let's just stick to whatever is in the spec, right? When it comes to
Yeah, there were, like I see my comment some days back. We could handle this part of mapping extension. So there is an open issue. Can you open that link? 145 in the spec. There is a open issue. So this is still open, and one of the idea within this proposal is to have this kind of. I mean, it is for multiple extensions, map. So one of the proposal is to have something like this. There was some JSON something, yeah. So that means this is a general proposal, but it can be handled as part of this, which is still an open issue there. So I think it's okay to close and handle it in this spec in the form of extensions.
Okay, I've already closed it with the comment. So yeah. Let's move on to the next topic.
So this was the second item, that is we could have spent some time, I just had it for this week itself, thinking that it's okay to do, but I also mentioned this in the Slack channels of our public channel and a few days back, whether anybody, but yeah, we don't have anybody else other than Red Hat. But we could spend some time on having a retrospective on this SBO. Of course, this is not the end of life for this project or anything, but going forward, it's more like a maintenance that we are doing, and that's my understanding. So we can spend some time on further perspective, right? How do we do that?
Yeah, I can start by you if you want.
Yeah, please go ahead.
Okay, so basically, I think SBO was had a lot more features than whatever eventually ended up in the spec, right? So I think that from that point of view, we came back and then implemented the spec API, right? In addition to all those other features that we had initially. So from the point of view of feature complete, there's still a few things, we can improve performance, but from the point of view of feature complete, we've implemented the service binding spec, right? So from my perspective, yes, projects go through cycles, and then unless there's a new feature that the specs brings to light, then that will trigger us to do active development, right? So what I would say is like just let's spend time collaborating with the spec group, right? And making sure that we have something that is valid moving forward, right? So that's the way I would approach this. And there's a lot of features that we might have created that we haven't seen any meaningful adoption, right? For those features.
I have some thought about the adoption part. So why this adoption? What we have done some of things like we reached out to ACK, we are reaching out to Azure, and like that some of the upstream communities that we are reaching out. So why the adoption, or do you think that it's going to take more time to get adopted, or what else we can do? Adoption is basically slow.
I think we're doing. I think we're doing a lot in terms of evangelizing the spec, right? So, like you said, we reach out to ACK actively. Reach out to ACK and Azure, right? If they're interested on implementing the standard, there will be there will be a little bit more. You can force adoption, right? Adoption needs to have a value, right? And then they need to see a value. The problem we're having is the chicken and egg problem. Like, for me to show services value for something, I need to show how many applications are gonna be using that service, right? Volume of application, right? And from the other side, for an application developer to show them, how easy it is to bind to a service, the service needs to already implement the spec, right? So breaking that cycle, I think, is what we're missing. And it could come in the future. It doesn't mean that doesn't come, right? If there's a breakthrough and ACK decides, hey, this thing that these Red Hat guys are working on is worth implementing because it's gonna simplify the way my services are consumed, and they do it, that's a breakthrough in terms of adoption, right?
So another thing I'm thinking, does the provision service a barrier for adoption?
Well, you found some problems, right? You found some problems already with the it's too simple in the sense that there's some conflicts, right? In the naming. That could be a weakness. Right? It's very simple. That's also a strength. So from my point of view, it's very simple to implement, right? The other thing is the security restrictions. Like, is to be able to not, unbeknownst to a cluster admin, we need to make sure that the operator that implements the spec does not move secrets from namespace to namespace, right? Without the proper authority, right? So that's one of the key design points. It's like, it needs to be contained within the same namespace. So that brings, I think, some challenges, right, in terms of adoption. Maybe the last thing I can think of is operators themselves has not been very successful. Like, for if there was a rich ecosystem of operators where every service provider says, yeah, I need to provide an operator for Kubernetes, then this would be a better story. But not all. I mean, even ACK, right? Amazon has like 250, 290 services, and only 50 are implemented in ACK, right? So you still have a gap about how many services are front-ended by a Kubernetes operator with the right abstraction, right? So that also means that then people will be like, why am I going to invest on this if the services that I need, they're not represented by an operator, right? So that's an adoption blocker as well, right?
Okay.
I think it just comes back to chicken and the egg of why would I support an ecosystem that doesn't look like it's exploding?
Exactly. Right. I mean, look at
when companies and developers are looking at that, they're going to be wanting to do whatever is latest and greatest, and
right.
Operators, I don't think, have quite reached critical mass for that level, that kind of adoption.
Right. I mean, we like it, right? So we know the power of operators, the abstraction that it
Mhm.
provides, right? The nature, having declarative language, then define the state that a controller reconciles, right? That's beautiful, but not everyone thinks that. I mean, some people think like, just a Helm chart with whatever I need for a service is good enough. Okay? And there's no need to do this reconcile loop, right? Okay. So if we're tied to the life, so we're tied to the success of operators. If operators are super successful, then we're successful.
Mhm.
Right. If they're not super successful, then we're less successful.
Yeah, I think those are good points. Feel free to update, or I try to capture whatever. Francisco, I know you started, came to late to the SPO development, but still you have any thoughts or something?
No, not at the moment.
Anyway, we'll continue to work with this tech and maintain this project, and hopefully this adoption is going to improve.
Yeah, for the record of people who are watching this as a recording, we're not intending on dropping SPO anytime soon.
Yeah, that continues to be a critical part of Red Hat strategy. So
Mhm.
I think that was good. Pavel, do you have something?
No, I don't think I need to add anything. I'll keep, I'm still working on as a QE. I'm still getting it better, trying to make it better.
Yeah. Okay, I think I don't have any other thoughts, so anyway.
Okay, so any comments? If there are no comments, then we are out of topics. I don't think that there are any new issues introduced to the repo. So I think
Correct.
we are all set.
Cool.
Thank you, and see you in 2 weeks.
Yeah, bye.
All right. Thanks, everyone.